In the bustling heart of a city that never sleeps, there lived a young man named Huan. He was an ordinary guy, perhaps even less than ordinary, with dreams as simple as they come. All he wished for was to graduate from university, land a decent paying job, and if the stars aligned, find a beautiful, kind hearted woman to share his life with. Oh, and maybe, just maybe, he could swap the chaos of public transportation for the comfort of his car. Life, however, had other plans for Juan, plans that would thrust him into a world far beyond his wildest imagination. One day, after stepping off the crowded bus, Juan walked home, reflecting on his life. He had already achieved one-third of his goals. He had graduated. Now, all that remained was finding a job. But the journey was exhausting, and he decided to take a break in a nearby park. His life, up to that point, had been utterly mundane. But as he sat there, something extraordinary happened. Juan opened his eyes and found himself face to face with a girl dressed in a cat-themed outfit, carrying a travel bag. She looked lost and desperate. "I'm lost," she said, her voice trembling. "I'm looking for this address. Can you help me?" She handed him a piece of paper, and Juan's heart skipped a beat. The address on the paper was his own home, with the words "for rent" scrawled across it. "Why are you looking for this house?" Huan asked, his voice tinged with suspicion. "Because I'm gonna live there," she replied matter-of-factly. Huan was stunned. "I'm the owner of that house," he said, his mind racing. "I'll take you there." They boarded the bus together, the girl visibly surprised by the coincidence of meeting the landlord himself. She introduced herself as Lily. As they walked from the bus stop, the atmosphere grew eerie. Suddenly, Lily spotted bats flying overhead and caught the metallic scent of blood in the air. She turned to Huan, her voice urgent. "Go home! I'll catch up with you!" "Are you crazy? I can't leave you alone in a place like this!" Huan protested. "Just listen to me and go! They're coming for us!" Lily insisted, her eyes darting around nervously. Before Huan could react, Lily transformed into a long-haired cat, her eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Standing before her was a red-haired girl with wings like a bat. The two clashed in a fierce battle, their powers colliding in a burst of energy. The red-haired girl took to the skies, her wings slicing through the air, while Lily, now back in human form, hurled a brick at her, forcing her to retreat. Huan, utterly shocked by what he had just witnessed, stood frozen. Lily ran to him, grabbing his hand. "Are you okay?" she asked. "Who are you, really?" Huan demanded, his voice shaking. "I'm not what you think," Lily replied cryptically. "I can't rent your house anymore." She grabbed her bag and turned to leave. "Wait, where will you go?" Huan called after her. "I'll sleep in a park or on the street," Lily said, her voice heavy with resignation. Huan couldn't let her go, not after what he had just seen. "You can't stay out there. Come with me," he said, leading her back to his house. He showed her to a room where she could rest, and the next morning he heard her scream upon seeing his cat. "He's harmless," Huan assured her, but Lily's unease was palpable. As Huan opened the window, he was met with a horrifying sight. Bats, their eyes glowing red, were flying straight at him. He slammed the window shut, but the bats shattered the glass and swarmed inside. The red-haired girl from the night before appeared, grabbing Huan by the arm. Lily lunged at her, and the two engaged in a brutal fight, destroying everything in their path. "Get out of here! Take your fight outside, or pay for everything you've broken!" Huan shouted, his voice trembling with anger. The red-haired girl turned to him, her eyes pleading. "I came to save you from her. Everyone says she's one of the evil creatures." Huan, desperate to calm the situation, sat them down at the table and served them food, hoping they could talk things out. He learned that the red-haired girl's name was Vivian, and she too had come to rent his house because it was cheap. As they talked, Vivian's anger flared and she smashed the table in frustration. She apologized, but Huan was at his wit's end. Clean up this mess, he ordered, taking Vivian to another room to keep her away from Lily. Later, Vivian climbed out the window to retrieve her bag and pay the rent, only to find her wallet missing. My wallet's gone again, she lamented, tears welling in her eyes. Lily smirked. Well, that's your problem. You should leave. Vivian broke down, sobbing. Why does this always happen to me? Where will I live now? Huan couldn't bear to see her like this. You can stay here, he said. You can pay me back when you have the money. Vivian's eyes lit up. It might take a while, but I can cook for you in the meantime. She prepared a feast, and when Huan and Lily tasted her cooking, they were amazed. This is delicious, Huan exclaimed. Just then, Huan's phone rang. It was a job interview offer. He rushed to the address given, only to find himself in a deserted area with no sign of any company. He called back, and the woman on the other end instructed him to place his hand on a nearby pole. As he did, a portal opened, revealing a futuristic city. Huan was transported to a strange office where he met Raven, a woman from the future. You've been chosen by the Intergalactic Empire, Raven explained. Your mission is to ensure the safety of the two girls living in your house and to prevent any harm from coming to them. In return, you'll receive a steady income and benefits. Huan, overwhelmed but intrigued, signed the contract. When he returned home, he told Vivian and Lily about the interview and showed them the contract. Vivian was uneasy, fearing they were being watched by demon hunters, but Huan reassured her. She just asked me to look out for you, he said. Later, Huan found himself in a strange, otherworldly place. Where am I? He wondered aloud. He pinched himself to make sure he wasn't dreaming, but the pain was real. As he wandered, a pack of wolves began chasing him. He ran for his life, but they caught up to him, and just as one lunged at him, he woke up in a cold sweat. Lily was by his side. What's wrong? She asked. I had a terrible nightmare, Huan said, still shaken. He looked down at his hand and found a tuft of wolf fur. His eyes widened in horror. This wasn't a dream, he whispered. Vivian tried to use her blood magic on him, but it had no effect. The next day, Huan received a call from his new employer. We need you to come in tomorrow. There's an urgent mission waiting for you. Huan's ordinary life had taken a turn into the extraordinary, and he was about to embark on a journey that would challenge everything he thought he knew about the world. The next day, Huan returned to the mysterious workplace, where Raven awaited him. Her presence was as enigmatic as ever, her piercing eyes scanning him as if she could see straight into his soul. You'll need tools for the missions you'll face, she said, handing him a sleek, futuristic device that seemed to hum with energy. This control unit will sync with your mind and assist you when you need it most. Huan hesitated, his voice trembling slightly. I'm not a fighter. I'm a peaceful person. I don't want to get involved in any combat missions. Raven smirked, her tone almost mocking. Don't worry, even if you die, we'll find another human body for your soul. Your spirit is immortal. Huan's eyes widened in disbelief. What kind of job is this? Where's the mission you called me for? Leave the mission for now, Raven said, her voice calm but commanding. Follow me. She led him to a testing chamber where a strange coffin-like pod stood ominously in the center of the room. Huan's heart raced as he stared at it. What's this? What kind of test is this? He asked, his voice rising in panic. Don't worry, Raven replied, her tone eerily soothing. This is just to enhance your body and give you special abilities. It's for your own good. Huan shook his head vehemently. You're insane. I'm not getting into that thing. Before he could protest further, Raven shoved him into the pod. The lid slammed shut, trapping him inside. Huan pounded on the walls, screaming, "Let me out!" But the pod began to spin at an insane speed, and before he knew it, everything went dark. When Huan opened his eyes, he found himself lying on the same ground where the wolf had attacked him in his nightmare. The air was freezing, and he could see his breath fogging in front of him. The control device was still in his hand, and it began to speak to him, its voice calm and mechanical. We are in a place beyond dreams, known as the virtual angle. It's similar to the real world, but beware. If you die here, you'll lose your life in the real world as well. Juan's heart pounded as he looked around. Where are we? How do we get back? He asked, his voice shaky. The device responded, This place feels off, doesn't it? Like someone's watching us. Before Huan could process the words, the wolves from his nightmare appeared, their eyes glowing with predatory hunger. Huan gripped the control device tightly. What do I do? He whispered. Don't worry, the device said. If I sense you're in mortal danger, I'll transport you to another world. The wolves lunged at him, and Huan fought back with a strength he didn't know he had. His arms, now reinforced by the enhancements from the pod, felt like steel as he struck the wolves. They fell to the ground, whimpering, but soon began to howl in unison. Huan looked around, confused and terrified. Why are they doing that? He muttered. From the top of a nearby hill, a massive savage wolf emerged. Its eyes locked onto Huan, and it let out a bone-chilling roar. Huan turned and ran, the beast hot on his heels. He stumbled and fell, the wolf pouncing on him. Huan screamed, but the wolf didn't attack. Instead, it spoke. Who are you? How did you get here? The wolf growled, its voice deep and guttural. Huan stared in shock. You can talk? The wolf snarled. We're a different kind of wolf, the kind that howls at the moon. You're lying. You're not a traveler. This place has human settlements, but they're rare. And right now, you're of no use to me. Your flesh would break my teeth, and my children wouldn't be able to eat you. Desperate, Huan made an offer. Let's make a deal. Take me to the nearest human settlement, and I'll find you a dentist. The wolf growled, clearly annoyed. You humans are always liars, but fine, I'll take your offer. It allowed Huan to climb onto its back and carried him to a small, dark cabin in the woods. The place was deserted, and Huan felt a deep sense of unease. He activated the control device, and a blinding light erupted from it, piercing the sky. The light enveloped everything, and in an instant, Huan found himself back inside the pod, gasping for breath. Raven stood over him, a satisfied smile on her face. Congratulations! You've survived death. How do you feel now that you've gained your basic enhancements? Huan glared at her. I want more! These abilities aren't enough! Raven chuckled. Don't be greedy. Enhancements come gradually. Now get ready. Your primary mission is about to begin. You're going to Europe to meet the new tenant. I'll send you all the details on your data screen. She handed him 3 tickets, 1 for himself and 2 for Lily and Vivian. Huan groaned. No way! Those 2 will just cause trouble. But Raven didn't give him a chance to argue. She shut the door in his face, leaving him with the tickets and a sense of dread. Later, Huan, Lily, and Vivian boarded a plane to Europe. They arrived at a luxurious hotel, and while Lily and Vivian marveled at its beauty, Huan remained focused on the mission. We're here to find the new tenant, not to enjoy ourselves, he reminded them. The control device displayed a map, but none of them could decipher it. Huan activated its translation feature, and they set off to find the tenant. After a meal, during which Lily devoured everything in sight, they were approached by a strange man who introduced himself as Mr. Nang. Vivian eyed him suspiciously. And who are you supposed to be? The man smiled. You can call me Mr. Nang. Huan shrugged. He seems harmless. But Vivian wasn't convinced. He's probably a demon hunter in disguise. As if to prove her point, Mr. Nang appeared on a nearby balcony, lost his balance, and fell. Huan caught him just in time, and Mr. Nang handed them a talisman to prove his identity. "Since you saved me, I'll take you to the city of Kerford," he said. The next day, they boarded a train to the haunted city. Upon arriving at the hotel, they were greeted by its eerie owner, who promised to bring their keys shortly. That night, Vivian decided it was the perfect time to explore the city before Mr. Nang could interfere. She flew Huan and Lily to the outskirts of the city, where they discovered a hidden path leading to an abandoned castle. Inside the castle, they encountered ghost hunters who fled in terror when Huan and the girls pretended to be ghosts. They found a hidden trapdoor and descended into a dark tunnel. The control device confirmed that the new tenant was somewhere below. As they ventured deeper, Lily sensed the presence of other humans. They soon came face to face with the hotel owner, who was lurking in the shadows. Vivian used her magic to disguise them as ghosts, terrifying the man into fleeing. But as the black fog cleared, Huan felt a strange sense of foreboding. The mission was far from over, and the mysteries of the virtual angel and the real world were beginning to intertwine in ways he couldn't yet comprehend. After regaining their composure, Lily suddenly pointed to the wall. "Look, there's something written here," she exclaimed. Vivian stepped closer, her eyes narrowing as she examined the strange symbols. "Wait a second," she said, placing her hand on the wall. The symbols began to glow faintly, reacting to her magical energy. "This Latin script is responding to our powers," she muttered, her voice tinged with both curiosity and caution. But before they could decipher the message, swords began raining down from above. Huan reacted instantly, using his enhanced reflexes to shield the group. "Run!" he shouted, grabbing Lily and Vivian as they sprinted through the narrow passage. The swords continued to fall, narrowly missing them as they dashed toward the exit. Once they were safe, Vivian explained, "This place is designed to stop anyone from releasing the evil spirits trapped here. Thanks, Huan, for protecting us." As they caught their breath, a massive boulder suddenly came rolling toward them. Lily, ever the impulsive one, darted after it like a dog chasing a ball, but the ground beneath her gave way, and she fell into a hidden pit. Vivian spread her wings and flew down to rescue her, pulling her back to safety. Huan, meanwhile, touched the wall again, and the symbols glowed brighter, revealing more hidden mechanisms. Suddenly, a torrent of swords rained down again, forcing Huan to scream in frustration. He managed to dodge most of them, but one grazed his arm, leaving a shallow cut. As he stumbled, he found himself falling into the same pit as Lily and Vivian. When they all stood up, they were stunned by what they saw: a massive treasure trove of gold, jewels, and an endless supply of food. Vivian and Lily rushed toward the treasure, but Huan grabbed them. "Wait! Don't touch anything," he warned. Just as he spoke, the treasure vanished, revealing a single path forward. Huan's enhancements allowed him to see through the illusion, unaffected by the magic that had ensnared the others. As they continued down the path, the walls began to shift, and new symbols appeared. The walls closed in on them, but Huan used his enhanced strength to hold them back. Lily and Vivian regained their powers, and together they managed to escape the collapsing corridor. Exhausted, they sat down to rest, but their respite was short-lived. Ghostly knights emerged from the ground, swords in hand, and began chasing them. Lily grabbed one of the knight's swords and used it to break through a wall, creating an escape route. Vivian summoned stones to block the knight's path, but the spirits kept appearing from every direction. Vivian explained, "This place is sealed. Breaking the seal won't be easy, so these spirits will keep coming." Meanwhile, following their trail, Mr. Nong encountered the same sealed wall. He placed a talisman on it, causing it to crumble. As the wall fell, the ghostly knights poured out, surrounding Huan and the girls. Nong appeared, falling dramatically from above, and declared, "Don't worry, I'll handle them." But his confidence was short-lived. He attempted to leap toward the knights, only to trip and fall flat on his face, breaking a tooth in the process. Lily and Vivian fought valiantly, but the sheer number of knights overwhelmed them. Just as they were about to give up, Vivian's eyes glowed red, and she unleashed a powerful spell. However, a red stone bound by chains absorbed her magic, and a beam of light shot into the sky. From the light emerged a terrifying red demon, its fiery form casting an ominous glow. The demon grabbed Huan and flew off with him. Lily and Vivian gave chase, with Nang following close behind. The demon eventually dropped Huan, and Vivian confronted it, attempting to use her magic again. But the demon spoke, its voice echoing ominously. "Who among you is my master?" Huan, Lily, and Vivian exchanged confused glances. The control device in Huan's hand suddenly activated, announcing, "Mission accomplished. This is the new tenant." Vivian hesitated. "Huan, don't agree to this. This demon is dangerous." But the control device insisted, "You must accept. This is part of the mission." The demon, now in human form, introduced himself as Isaac. He explained that he had been sealed in the red stone and had only recently been freed. Huan, still in shock, returned to Raven's office in space. "We almost died out there," Huan exclaimed. Raven shrugged. "But you didn't. And what do you think of the new tenant? He's quite charming, isn't he?" Huan groaned. "I don't know why everything he does involves meteors." Isaac explained that he had come to Earth a month ago and had been trapped in the magical stone until his release. Huan returned home to find Lily and Vivian arguing as usual. Isaac left to find a job to pay the rent, while Huan retreated to the basement. There, he found Vivian cleaning and discovered a page she had found while tidying up. "This is the page I saw in my dreams," Huan muttered. "I wonder what the king is doing now." Vivian tried to read it for him, but couldn't make sense of it. Just then, Huan's phone rang. The police had arrested Isaac. Vivian shrugged. "It's not surprising. He looks like a wanted criminal." Later, as Huan walked down the street, he heard a beautiful voice singing. A girl with a guitar was performing, and people were tossing money into her case. Huan was captivated by her voice, but realized he had forgotten his wallet. The girl smiled at him, but when he walked away without donating, she called him stingy. The next day, Huan met with Raven, who assigned him a new mission on a water-covered planet. She introduced him to a new companion, the girl he had seen singing. Her name was Nangi, and she had grown up on land despite her family's aquatic origins. Back at the house, Vivian announced she would cook lunch, but Lily started arguing with her. The two began pulling each other's hair in front of Nangi, who watched in amusement. That night, Huan woke up thirsty and wandered the house. Nangi found him and teased, "Don't be scared. You're going to space after all." Huan sighed. "It's not that. It's just all so new to me." Nangi reassured him, "Don't worry. I've traveled all over the world." The next day, Huan, Raven, and Nangji gathered in front of the control device, which would transport them to the space station. Lily and Vivian bid them farewell as the device activated, sending them to the copper station in space. There, they were greeted by a woman in green who welcomed them and led them to their spacecraft. As they boarded, Huan couldn't help but wonder what new adventures and dangers awaited them in the vast expanse of space. As they approached the spacecraft, Huan, Nangi, and Isaac were struck by its sheer size. The alien beings standing nearby were unlike anything they had ever seen. Strange, otherworldly, and awe-inspiring. The group boarded the ship only to find it eerily empty. The control device spoke up, explaining that once they reached the second station, they would transfer to a smaller craft that Raven had prepared for them. Suddenly, a laser projected a holographic image of a man in front of them. "How's your space journey going?" the figure asked. Huan frowned. "Who are you?" The control device answered, This will be your captain for the space mission." The ship's doors opened to the vast expanse of space, and the craft began to shake violently. The group, trying to lighten the mood, started playing cards and joking around. But their laughter was cut short when the captain announced, "An enemy ship is approaching. They've challenged us to a race, and we must win." The control device beeped urgently. "We need to escape to the smaller craft. If we stay here, we'll be stranded in space for thousands of years." Panicked, they rushed to the smaller ship, but none of them knew how to operate it. The control device instructed, "Place me in the correct slot and I'll take care of the rest. But someone needs to open the hatch." Isaac stepped forward, using all his strength to transform into his demonic form and pry the hatch open. The smaller ship launched at breakneck speed, with Isaac clinging to the top as it hurtled through the atmosphere. The group screamed as the ship began to malfunction, forcing them to crash land into the ocean. Huan found himself submerged in water, gasping for air. "Am I going to die like this?" he thought just before losing consciousness. When he woke up, he was back in the cabin from his dreams, the control device explaining that he had passed out and was in a dreamlike state until he regained his strength. As he stepped outside, he was confronted by the Wolf King and his pack, who were attacking the cabin. Huan fought them off, and the Wolf King thanked him. "Without my teeth, I'm weak," the wolf admitted. Huan reassured him, "Don't worry, next time I'll bring a dentist. But do you know anything about this page I found?" He showed the wolf an ancient script. The wolf began to explain its significance, but before he could finish, Huan woke up to find himself back in the real world. The control device analyzed the map and revealed 2 red dots, one in the forest and one in the ocean. The new tenant was at one of these locations. They decided to search the forest first, as it was closer. When they arrived, Isaac destroyed part of the wrecked ship, but found nothing. The control device suggested they check the ocean location next. Nangi, being part of the Siren clan, transformed into a mermaid and dove into the water, pulling Huan with her. To his surprise, Huan discovered he could breathe underwater, thanks to Nangi's powers. As they explored the depths, they encountered a shark. Nangi transformed into a giant fish, allowing Huan to ride on her back as they swam deeper. They found the second part of the charging device, and Nangi sealed it off from the water. Inside, they discovered children's toys, clothes, and a large egg. Raven called through the control device, "Have you found the new tenant?" Huan replied, "No, it's not in the charging device." Raven sighed, "You're an idiot. The new tenant is inside the egg." Huan was stunned. "Why didn't you tell me the new tenant was an egg?" Raven explained, "It's the last surviving egg of an extinct mermaid clan. Nangi, who is from the outcast Siren clan, will help you care for it. Now, it's time to launch your new ship." Huan took control of the ship, still in disbelief. "This is mine now?" he asked. Raven nodded. "Yes, it's yours, Captain." As they returned home, they found the house in ruins. Fearing a robbery, they rushed inside to find Vivian restraining Lily, who had become increasingly aggressive. Huan asked, "What happened to her?" Vivian explained, "She's been like this since yesterday." Lily lunged at the egg in Nangi's hands, but Isaac restrained her. Huan realized they needed Raven's help. When they brought Lily to Raven, she examined her and said, "She's transforming. When she wakes up, she'll be a wolf. This will happen during the next full moon, which is tomorrow." Huan was worried. "Will she be okay?" Raven reassured him, "She'll be fine, but for now, you all need to rest." That night, as Huan walked alone, he noticed a shadowy figure watching him with a sinister smile. Meanwhile, Vivian prepared a potion to help control Lily's transformation. As the full moon rose, they gathered around Lily, waiting for the change. But nothing happened. Exhausted, they eventually fell asleep, leaving Lily to rest peacefully. After Lily went out to howl at the moon, Han and the others heard her cries and rushed to see her begin her transformation. They quickly activated a defensive spell from Isaac's talisman, bracing themselves for what was to come. But instead of turning into a fearsome wolf, Lily transformed into a massive fluffy husky. She wagged her tail, licked Huan's face, and playfully bounded around, much to everyone's surprise. Huan sighed in relief. "At least she's not causing trouble anymore," he muttered. Meanwhile, two mysterious figures appeared, drawn by the sound of Lily's howling. "The show's about to begin," one of them said with a smirk. Vivian, ever prepared, threw a sleeping potion she had concocted at Lily, hoping to calm her down. But instead of putting her to sleep, the potion triggered a reverse reaction. Lily bolted toward the city, her new husky form surprisingly fast. Huan and the others chased after her, with Vivian grabbing Huan and flying him above the chaos. "We need to stop her," Huan shouted. "Let me down so I can catch her." Isaac tried to intervene, but Lily was too quick, knocking him out cold with a single swipe. Vivian attempted to use her magic to restrain Lily, but the husky was unstoppable. Finally, Nangi began to sing, her voice soothing and melodic. Lily stopped in her tracks, her energy draining as she collapsed into a deep sleep. They carried her back to the house, where she slowly returned to her human form. Vivian, exhausted, transformed into a bat and flew Huan back to the couch. As he lay there, two shadowy figures appeared behind him, striking him on the back of the neck and knocking him unconscious. When Huan woke up, he found himself in a dark, unfamiliar place. Lily was there too, but she was trapped. She tried to open the door, but as soon as she touched the handle, an electric shock sent her flying backward. A thick black fog filled the room, and the two figures who had kidnapped her appeared. "You're going to work for us now," one of them said. "You'll leave those evil creatures you've been with and join us." Lily glared at them. "Huan and the Batgirl are good people. They're not evil. Stay away from me." The figure stepped closer, his voice cold. "Stop acting like a child and shut up." But Lily refused to back down, fighting back with everything she had. Just as the tension reached its peak, a boy with glasses appeared and struck Lily on the back of her neck, knocking her out. A bat hidden in Lily's clothes tried to escape, but the boy used his magic to strike it down. Back at the house, Nangi woke Huan up, frantic. "Lily's gone! She's not in the house!" Huan quickly remembered what had happened. "Someone knocked me out! They must have taken her!" He spotted the bat lying outside the window and tried to get information from it, but its memories had been wiped by powerful magic. The control device scanned the bat and analyzed the data. "The location is a steel factory," it announced. Huan nodded. "I know someone near the northern outskirts. Lily might be there." They rushed to the factory, but it was heavily fortified with dark magic. Vivian tried to break through with her spells, but the thick fog surrounding the factory repelled her attacks. She remembered how Huan's presence had disrupted the magic in the castle, and suggested he try the same here. As they approached, the boy who had kidnapped Lily appeared, attacking Vivian in midair. She dodged his strikes and shouted to Huan, "Go find Lily! I'll handle him!" Huan ran toward the factory, but the boy transformed into a werewolf and chased after him. "No one's leaving here alive!" he snarled. Vivian, using her speed and agility, kept the werewolf at bay. "You think you can outrun me?" she taunted. "I'm the Crimson Moon contestant. You're nothing compared to me." Meanwhile, Huan climbed the factory pipes, searching for Lily. He heard a voice behind him. "You came with the Blood Clan. You're not leaving here in one piece." A second werewolf appeared, attacking Huan with relentless fury. The control device urged Huan to fight back. "If you don't resist, you'll be torn apart." Huan, realizing he had no choice, used his enhanced abilities to dodge and counterattack. He managed to open a pipe, spraying water everywhere and creating enough chaos to escape. He finally found Lily and freed her. "I'm so hungry," Lily groaned. "Let's get you home," Huan said, helping her down. But as they descended, the werewolf was waiting for them. "You're not going anywhere," he growled. Han shielded Lily. "Why did you kidnap her?" the werewolf sneered. "She's one of us. She belongs with her kind." Lily shook her head. "No, I'm not. Han and the others are my family now," and tried to reason with the werewolf. "Let me explain. She's just a tenant living with me. That's all." Before the werewolf could respond, an explosion rocked the factory. Vivian had unleashed a powerful attack, forcing the werewolf to retreat. Huan and Lily escaped, but the werewolf's brother appeared furious. "You've gone too far," he shouted, attacking Huan and his group. A group of armed demon hunters arrived, declaring, "All the monsters are gathered here! Attack!" Huan activated his defensive shield, protecting his friends. Vivian flew above the hunters, using her magic to disorient them, while Lily transformed into a wolf and ran at top speed, leaving the hunters in the dust. Huan used the control device to create a blinding light, allowing them to escape. The hunters, however, were relentless. One of them, a skilled fighter, confronted Huan. "You're one of the monsters," she accused. Huan shook his head. "I'm just a normal human, and I'm better than you." The hunter attacked, but Huan countered with a powerful strike, knocking her out. He heard Lily howling in the distance and ran toward her, while Vivian and the others fought off the remaining hunters. Huan's brother, Yuan, was badly injured. Huan carried him to safety, where Nangi used her healing powers to treat him. "He'll be okay," she assured them. Yuan, weak but conscious, apologized. "I'm sorry for causing trouble. I did this because the day is coming when our powers will fade and the hunters will grow stronger. I wanted Lily to be with her kind when that happens." Lily frowned. "Why didn't you just tell me instead of kidnapping me?" Yuan sighed. "I thought you were laughing at me, siding with the Blood Clan." Huan and the others forgave him, realizing his intentions, though misguided, were not evil. They vowed to stand together, united against the hunters and whatever challenges lay ahead. After Yuan's wounds were completely healed, he leaned into his brother's embrace and reassured him, "I'm fine, don't worry." But just as they began to relax, another attack came out of nowhere. A hunter with a spear appeared, and Isaac quickly intercepted him, landing a solid blow. However, more hunters emerged from the shadows, and Huan shouted, "Watch out! They're coming from all sides." The leader of the hunters stepped forward, knives in hand, and threw one at Isaac. But Isaac caught it midair and smirked. "You're the leader of these hunters? You don't look like much," he taunted. The hunter leader, visibly shaken, stammered, "What kind of demon are you?" before turning to flee. Isaac, however, wasn't about to let him go. He grabbed the leader and placed a talisman on his forehead. "You think I'd let you walk away that easily?" With a flick of his finger, the leader collapsed, unconscious. Yuan and his brother stood up, ready to leave. They thanked Huan and the others for their help and turned to Lily. "You should come with us," Yuan said, but Lily shook her head. "Everyone here has been so kind to me. I feel like I'm at home, and I'm happy here." Yuan nodded reluctantly. "All right, I'll visit you next time." With that, he and his brother left, carrying the unconscious hunters with them. Just as they were about to leave, the female hunter who had attacked Huan earlier reappeared, holding a blade to Nangi's throat. "No one's leaving until you release my friends," she demanded. Suddenly, a voice called out from above, "I'm a demon hunter too!" A man descended, freeing Nangi and confronting the female hunter. I need to take the siren for trial. The rest of you can go." The female hunter frowned. "I've never heard of you." The man shrugged. "That's because I prefer to work alone." As the female hunter and her companions tried to escape, the control device announced that Raven had been alerted and wouldn't let them get far. Nangi, furious, attacked the man who had saved her, accusing him of deceiving her. She flew into a rage, slamming him into a tree and shouting, "What are you even doing here?" Now, Huan and the others watched in stunned silence. Even the control device seemed shocked. After the chaos, they all returned home, only to find Nange constantly following the man around, arguing with him at every turn. "I'm just trying to protect you," he insisted. Huan, confused, asked, "Wait, are you from the Siren clan too?" The man shook his head. "No, my father was a demon hunter and my mother was a siren. It's rare, but it happens." Vivian chimed in. "Only the daughters inherit the siren lineage. Sons don't." Huan then turned to Lily. "When you transformed, you turned into a husky, not a wolf." Vivian laughed. "So you're a dog, not a wolf." Lily, horrified, began to cry. "No, I'm a werewolf." Vivian, ever the scientist, decided to test Lily's blood. She bit Lily's neck, drawing blood, and everyone gasped in shock. After a moment, Vivian declared, "Your blood is that of a dog. You're not a werewolf." Lily, enraged, lunged at Vivian, and the two began pulling each other's hair in front of everyone. Just then, the door slammed open, and Yuan and his brother returned, offering Vivian a chance to join their outcast group. They presented her with a gold bar, and her eyes lit up with greed. But before she could respond, the lights went out. Vivian and Lily panicked, thinking they were under attack, but Isaac assured them he didn't sense any enemies. Lily and Nangi realized the water and gas had been cut off, and Vivian accused Huan of not paying the bills. Huan checked his account and found he was broke. Frustrated, he declared, "I need to be alone," and went to bed, leaving the others to figure out how to earn money. The next day, Huan woke up to find the house empty. He tried the faucet, but no water came out. The control device suggested he visit Raven. Meanwhile, Lily was working at a dog-themed restaurant. Looking adorable in her uniform, Vivian, jealous, decided she needed a job too. Nangi and Isaac went treasure hunting in the deep sea, while Huan went to Raven to ask about the hunters who had attacked them. Raven assured him the hunters wouldn't attack again. Huan suggested peace between the outcasts and the hunters, like Nangi's parents, but Raven dismissed the idea. "It's hard to control them all, and most outcasts come from beyond the dreams you visited before. Enough about this. Next time you go there, figure it out yourself." When Huan returned home, his friends were gathered around a table full of food. The electricity was back on, and they had all worked hard to earn money and prove they could protect him. Lily presented him with a cake she had made herself. Huan touched, thanked them all, and announced he would travel beyond the dreams to learn more about the outcasts. Everyone insisted on going with him, and Huan agreed. As they prepared for their journey, Huan remembered the egg. "Where's the egg?" he asked. Nangi pointed to the kitchen sink. "I put it there." Lily was in the kitchen, staring at the pot, waiting for the egg to boil. And with that, the video ended. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more. If you're new here, check out the previous videos. I'm sure you'll love them. See you next time. And until then, goodbye. Let's say peace out.